today's issue, we're going to see the home game of basketball players of Astana and analyze the start of the season. We will talk to the Vice President of the Kazakhstan MMA Federation, Anatoly Kim, and we will tell you what esports is and who glorifies our country in this game industry. After an unsuccessful last season, Astana basketball team had a great start. 3 wins out of 4 matches. For the first time in its history, the team scored more than 90 points at 3 games in a row. Now Astana, quite unexpectedly for many, is among the 5 best teams of the league. Over 90 points is a good indicator, and I really like the charisma, the desire of the coach, which give the result. The current season the team spends under the guidance of the Macedonian specialist, Emil Rajkovic. Despite the fact that the budget of the club was cut, the leadership managed to keep the American point guard Anthony Clemens. He is only 24 years old. He is among the 5 most efficient players in the league and is seriously planning to take Kazakhstan citizenship. He is definitely an important player for us, who stabilizes the team's game and plays with a great dedication to the team. In addition to Clemens, Astana signed 4 more foreign players. 3 Kazakhstan players joined the club: Nikolai Bazhin, Askar Maidekin and Ruslan Aitkali. The victorious series of games of the club for all seasons was 3 meetings and now the home game against Khimki. The fans came with the hope that the story will be rewritten before their eyes, considering that last season Astana managed to beat the Moscow District Club. The Moscow District Club, Khimki, is considered one of the most titled clubs in Russia and has not yet suffered a single defeat in the VTB League, occupying the 2nd place. They also play in the EuroLeague, where things are a little worse. They had only 1 victory out in 5 games. With proper mood, Astana is able to surprise their audience. Guests from the very beginning began to prove their status of favorites. Astana tried to fight, and the first quarter ended with a minimal advantage of Khimki Club, 15-17. An absolutely equal game continued until the middle of the 2nd quarter, when the guests began to increase their advantage. In the Khimki team, Andrei Zubkov successfully entered the game, and also long-distance shots were successful, 40-28 after 20 minutes. All attempts of Astana to close the gap in the 3rd quarter were stopped by the most effective league player, Alexei Shved.
We knew before the game that Astana had 3 wins in a row and very good performances. This year they have a really good team, solid team, and they have a good coach. And we had one problem during the 4th quarter when Astana play with a small lineup, having a forward as a center. They hit some threes and they get back in the game, but we managed to win, which is very important for us right now.
Astana fought to the end and even reduced the backlog to 5 points. Unfortunately, the hosts did not have enough for more. In the last 3 minutes, Khimki competently held back Astana's players. The class of players, the class of teams are a little bit different. Not to mention the budget. The budget of Astana is less than a single Khimki player, but we looked very dignified.
First of all, Khimki had bigger rotation of players and they maintained the intensity, so they could have played at 100% intensity. We had problems with the injury of Grossel and as I mentioned with Clemens being tired from the trip from the States. I think that this game should not influence our self-confidence. I think that our guys should maintain the self-confidence and look forward to the next games.
The game itself left a good impression on the fans. Obviously, the current composition of Astana is able to fight for points in every match. Coming up, Anatoly Kim will talk about the conflict with Yemelyanenko, the underground battles and the future of MMA in Kazakhstan. The fight of Conor McGregor and Khabib Nurmagomedov clearly showed that people watch and understand MMA in Kazakhstan. Since 2013, this is the official sport in our country, and the rating tournaments are constantly among the list of programs on national television channels. Why does mixed fight have such popularity in the world? We have a lot of questions, and we asked Vice President of the MMA Federation, Anatoly Kim, to answer them. Anatoly, welcome. How are you? I'm great, thank you. In recent years, MMA has become super popular in Kazakhstan. Why is that? There are many factors. MMA is gaining momentum around the world and becoming the #1 sport in the world of martial arts. In view of its entertainment quality, it has its own stars. This wave has come to us. We grew up in these battles, watched the UFC, and it seemed to us that this was some kind of unattainable dream. Kazakhstan, of course, was a little behind, even from Russia, precisely in the development of this type of sport. We set a goal to start the development of this sport, and in 2013, we already started to officially perform and recognize the sport in Kazakhstan, entered it into the state register, received accreditation, began to conduct national and regional selections, formed the composition of the national team. When we started to identify the strongest and bring the strongest fighters to the World Championships, we immediately made our way to the top countries, and for 4 years, being members of the World Association, we were leaders in the world. In Asia, we still hold the first place. How often do tournaments take place, and who does sponsor them?
Конечно, проблемы с финансированием есть у всех видов спорта. Все мы знаем, даже в олимпийских.
Everyone has problems, even Olympic sports, which are in a priority position. For MMA, initially there was no funding at all, because the sport did not exist. When we accredited our federation, we began to apply for state support. While there were no results, there was no support. It appeared closer to 2016. When it began to show stable results, the national team brought medals.
Мы стабильно начали показывать эти результаты. Национальная сборная стабильно приносила медали нашей стране. И, соответственно, уже государство начало уделять внимание этому виду спорта частично.
We are very grateful that now this support is there, because MMA is becoming more popular in our country. All these championships began in 2013 and now are taking place in all regions of Kazakhstan. From this year we began the development of youth sports.
Во всех регионах Казахстана отборы у нас. С этого года мы начали еще и развитие уже детско-юношеского спорта.
Кто сегодня идет в ММА? Как правило,
Who's going to MMA today?
бокс, либо борьба, либо кикбоксинг.
Да, когда-то ребята...
As a rule, these are people who have some kind of martial arts base: boxing, wrestling, kickboxing. Yes, before sportsmen trained in different sports, coming from boxing, wrestling, jiu-jitsu. They tried their hand, but for several years now, they have been training in the system of training for MMA fighters. Accordingly, the training camps are held according to our methodology. It has its own characteristics. The preparation is very hard. Unfortunately, not everyone understands this. We have different rules, approaches. Someone even calls it fighting without rules, which is fundamentally wrong. There have always been rules.
Верно, там всегда были правила.
What is the highest achievement for an MMA fighter?
Высшим достижением для бойца ММА, наверное, в любительском спорте, как и в любом другом, сейчас является звание чемпиона.
For an amateur, the title of world champion, to become a fighter of the international class, to receive recognition of their merits. Now it is possible. Today we have about 20 international class masters of sports.
На сегодняшний день у нас уже порядка 20 мастеров спорта международного класса. И за это время уже воспитано. Профессиональное ММА – это, наверное...
In professional MMA, this is UFC. As for today, it is the coolest promotion in the world. Everyone wants to get there. This question is the most frequently asked when I see our sportsmen there. It is necessary to work, because they have a very high level there. There are nuances that we need to overcome. It is easier to get there rather than stay.
Нюансы, которые нам нужно преодолеть. То есть нам нужно сформировать вот эту базу, понимаете? Проще попасть, чем задержаться где-либо, где бы то ни было.
Which of our fighters can do this? If someone was ready, we would have already begun to negotiate. Why did you choose MMA? Why this particular sport?
Когда появились эти первые бои на наших кассетах, я смотрел.
When we had a chance to see the first fights, I watched them. It was very interesting to me. Then there were the first illegal fights.
Потом уже это пришло потихоньку в нашу жизнь. Какие-то бои.
They called them fights without rules. I participated in one of them. I became a winner in the absolute category. There were no rules? fought to a complete failure?
Были правила, естественно, были правила.
There were rules, moreover, which took place in the format of hand-to-hand combat. If we remember, once kickboxing was a young sport, no one understood how to fight it. If we remember, once kickboxing was a young sport, no one understood how to fight in it, and karate was forbidden. Today it does not frighten anyone.
Никого карате не пугает.
Do the underground battles still exist today? Perhaps they exist, but we have no relation to them at all. If this is an official sport, everything must be clearly regulated. How closely it was associated with the mob then and now.
Ну, в 90-е годы практически все боевые единоборства были связаны.
In the 1990s, all martial arts were associated with the mob, due to the fact that the whole sports system collapsed and the athletes were out of work. This is a whole army, and they had no particular choice. In our tournaments, this 1990s plume doesn't exist, although once it was present. Today, MMA is a cultural and social event when people come to relax and enjoy sports.
Отдохнуть, действительно, насладиться спортом. ММА, знаете, у нее остался отпечаток не то, что там какого-то криминала больше, а именно элемент бизнеса здесь.
MMA has left no imprint in crime or in business. In fact, it was born as a kind of business, a show. And it all turned out into an amateur sport, which goes against the development of the sport itself.
С точки зрения бизнеса порою, что идет вразрез именно с развитием самого спорта.
Regarding the educational function of MMA, you said that MMA is a business, and the example is a duel between Conor McGregor and Khabib Nurmagomedov. The ending of the fight, when Khabib jumps out of octagon, is that too much? It all seemed too much. Perhaps there was a reason. Then it became known that there were provocations. He couldn't keep it cool. You cannot condemn Khabib, because you don't know how would you behave in this situation. For a long time, there was a psychological pressure. His honor, dignity were hurt, especially during the fight, when adrenaline rolls over. Any such trick leads to a growing interest among the public, grows into dividends. McGregor himself is a trendsetter in this. Although I'm not a supporter of such behavior, now is the time when young people looking at all this can say anything, write anything. Fights between MMA fighters and boxers. How normal is that? This is all about the money. I like the words of Tyson in this regard, who said that the days of the boxers had passed. Today it's businessmen who are fighting. Could Golovkin fight in MMA? Golovkin could fight in everything. An athlete of this level can try himself in any sport. He will succeed. Still, he has special physical data, talent, discipline. But whether he needs it is another question. When these rumors appeared, I asked Golovkin at headquarters. No one had confirmed them. This is just speculation. If he makes that decision, he will have chances. But nevertheless, I would not want such athletes to be in sports for a very long time. Just the ones we love. The whole country loves him. We're used to the fact that he wins. It will be very unpleasant if he loses. Even in a battle with Canelo, I believe that he won both times. He did not lose. The entire industry of this professional sport lost. In MMA, there are many opportunities in a fight like strangling, painful hold, technical knockout. There are more opportunities to prevent judges taking away your victory. In 2016, you were accused of disrespect towards Fedor Emelianenko.
Ну, опять же, кто меня обвинил? Если меня лично сам Федор обвинил...
If Fedor himself had accused me, then maybe. I will not say anything because I respected and continue to respect him as an athlete. He became the face of our sport. There was no disrespect, purely working moments. It was just that someone needed to interpret it this way.
Рабочие моменты. Просто кому-то надо было это интерпретировать именно так.
After all this, what else inspires you in MMA?
По сути, я и пришел в эту федерацию только из-за детей.
In fact, I came to the federation only because of children. When it was necessary for my own children to go in for sports, there were no conditions. We tried to create them ourselves. Today, a lot of children are engaged, and this motivates me. When you see their eyes, you realize that there is no turning back.
То есть ты понимаешь, что шага назад нет, надо идти вперед.
Thank you very much for the interview. Thank you. Next, a representative of the Esports Federation, Alibek Akanov, will tell you what kind of future Kazakhstan gamers have.
сегодняшняя аудитория киберспорта.
Today, the audience of cybersports is about 38 million for 2018. According to experts, the audience of esports by 2020 will reach about 400 million people.
400 миллионов.
Being a gamer is fashionable, and esports is a global and promising industry. Recently, it has become an official sport in Kazakhstan. Players have received support at the state level and can now officially represent the country at international tournaments.
Цель, она очень проста, то есть киберспорт на самом деле это отнюдь не что-то новое.
The goal is very simple. Cybersport is not new. We have teams in the country.
Я знаю, что в Казахстане у нас есть команды, у нас проводятся турниры.
Tournaments are held, but they're sporadic, not regular. We came precisely in order to put this thing on the rails.
С тем, чтобы поставить все это дело на профессиональные рельсы, скажем так, уже системным профессиональным подходом.
2018 has become the key for the domestic esports. We had a federation. The first national championship in the most popular disciplines was held. The national team of Kazakhstan was created, which managed to perform at the Asian Games.
В августе месяце наши ребята из Казахстана съездили на азиатские игры. Они представляли Казахстан.
In August, our guys went to the Asian Games. They represented Kazakhstan in 3 disciplines. This is the first big step on the world stage. We won no places, but it was a great experience, and we now have a vision of where to grow and what to do.
У нас есть видение, куда нам расти и что нам делать.
Kazakhstan gamers are known all over the world. Success example, Gambit and Avantgarde teams. They were the first last year to win one of the most prestigious CSGO tournaments. The guys from Avantgarde, with 2 Kazakhstan players, this year were the best in the PUBG game, entered the top 20 teams in the world, and now they are the most anticipated guests at major tournaments. To date, they are the best streamers for games. You play with them, the popularity of the organization is growing. If the organization is from Kazakhstan, then the popularity of our country is growing. They travel around the world. Sponsors gaze at them. Gamers are the same athletes. If you are successful, professional clubs can sign a contract with you. In September, the most famous FIFA player in our country, Amir Iskaliyev, signed an agreement with the champions of Kazakhstan in football, Club Astana. I am very proud that I will defend the colors of this club in the media space. They are #1 on the field in Kazakhstan.
На самом деле, это интеллектуальный спорт. Мы прекрасно видим, что в мире
In fact, this is an intellectual sport. There are many guys in the world who have achieved great heights in these sports. There is nothing like it in Kazakhstan. But as a federation, we want to give young guys an opportunity to realize themselves. We have created about 9 branches in Kazakhstan. There are prospects to create branches in other regions of the country.
порядка 9 филиалов на территории Казахстана. Есть перспектива создать филиалы и в других регионах Казахстана.
FIFA, Dota 2, PUBG are the most popular games in Kazakhstan. While the older generation is suspicious of cybersport, young gamers set new trends in the country. Their average age is from 15 to 35, and their ambition is to participate in the Olympics. It is highly probable that in 2024, esports will become part of the Olympic family. The video of the week concludes our program. How long can you keep the ball in the air, kicking it with your feet? And how many kicks will you make while you're in the air? It seems that this question has long tormented Kyron Brown and John Farnard. The guys have mastered the new and extreme kind of freestyle.